Hi, this is Elizabeth Bradley. I'm recording this video for the W.E.B. DuBois School application process. As I do not work in a classroom setting that allows me to take live video, I am providing this example video of a mock lesson. As I do not have a video camera or know anyone who does, I am recording this lesson from my desktop webcam. This is extremely awkward, but I'm going to make the most of this process. Today I will be covering a lesson in third grade fractions. We will be talking about the idea that 10 tens make 100, and this correlates directly with the standard in the Ohio third grade mathematics fraction section that discusses this particular example. So, the first thing we would do in this lesson is I would explain to the students that today we're talking about fractions, specifically the idea that 10 tens make 100. I would ask them if they had any ideas about things that they already are familiar with, examples from their own lives of 10 tens making 100, and record those on the board. From there, I would pass out colored paper and have them cut 10 strips of colored paper. They can use a ruler if they would like the strips to be even. They'll use 9 lines on each strip and form 10 strips with 10 blocks each. I would have them count and number each block so that they become familiar with the fact that they now have 100 blocks on 10 strips. I would have them show their partner their 10 strips and place them on their desk to form a square, so that now they understand that 10 tens in strips forms a square block of 100. They would make sure their partner has the same and make sure that their partner has all 10 strips with 10 blocks each. In the second part of the lesson, the students are going to be making dimes. They're going to take a marker or other round object like a glue stick and make 10 circles on a sheet of paper. They're going to cut those out, and in each circle they're going to write the number 10 followed by the cents sign to make dimes. They can count by tens using the dimes to make $1, helping them make the connection that 10 tens makes $1. They know at this point that dimes are 10 cents each, and they will find out that 10 of them make $1, emphasizing the fact that 10 tens make a whole unit of 100. They can share with their partner and practice trading dimes in amounts that they can count, forming 100 or 10 tens using the dimes. And from there, we will move on to assessment. Right before assessment, I would want to make sure that students knew of different times that they would use the idea that 10 tens make 100. I'd like to remind them that they might need to count by tens, like counting pennies up to 100. They might be collecting things that would be counted, like silly bands, or they might need to count large groups of students, and they might want to count by tens up to 100. 10 groups equals 100. I'd also want to take some of their own ideas and add those to the board. And I'd also like to remind them that sometimes grades are counted in groups of 10 up to 100. 90 to 100 is A, 80 to 90 is B, and so on down the scale. At this point, they would take their exit slip exam, a short quiz that makes sure that they understood all of the different topics that we covered that day, and I will provide an example of that for you now. So here is a sample quiz, like the kind of exit quiz I would give after each math lesson. This quiz has questions that show the two different examples we gave of 10 tens making 100 today. The first one has a block, an example block, and they will be writing down 10 blocks showing 10 tens make 100. Then they will draw 10 dimes explaining that 10 dimes makes $1. At the end, there's a place where they can explain in their own words why 10 tens make 100. I feel that having exit exams like this for every lesson really help the teacher understand how the students learn and what they learned, or whether or not they struggled with what the teacher gave. After collecting the assessments, I would go over all of the questions on the quiz and make sure that everyone understood what happened and make sure that everybody learned what they needed to learn. I really like this kind of lesson because it gives the students the opportunity to make their own manipulatives and work hands-on with the material being covered. At the end of this lesson, they have a baggie with 10 strips of 10 blocks, and they have 10 dimes, which can serve as a reference for them if they need to remind themselves later on what it was that we did, remembering that 10 tens makes 100. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm sorry I didn't have a more realistic example of my teaching abilities, but I had to make do with what I could figure out. So if you have any questions about this lesson or any of my other application materials, please let me know, and I look forward to hearing more from you about my candidacy in this process. Thank you.